approval with the following conditions. Variations shall not apply to the existing parking lot, so the reduced aisle width and the landscaping reduction would only apply to the 2 rows that are being added, not to any of the existing stuff. So if that were to be renovated or use changed or something like that, then they would have to install the landscaping that's required. Variations shall expire if the parking lot is redesigned or the property redeveloped with a new structure. This goes in line with the same thing, but it means that it would expand to the 2 new aisles as well. Approval of final engineering plans, approval of a final photometric plan if additional lighting is proposed. We have not received anything for it thus far. Final approval by the fire district and adoption of the findings of fact contained in this report. That's your consideration.
Thank you. So at this time, I will go ahead and open up the public hearing. If you'd like to speak on this item on the agenda, please step up to the podium, state your name, and sign in. Is a petitioner here? Or anything? Okay. Did you want to speak or just wait? Okay. Okay, at this time then, I will go ahead and close the public hearing and open up to commissioners for questions or comments.
I have a question. I'm just trying to understand. I see the area in blue in the front and in the back. Where exactly is they wanting the parking increased?
Yeah, so on that map, so on the north side along Montgomery Road, there's that existing parking lot. The new spaces would be added on the west side. There's that sort of little panhandle section.
Okay, so right now it's just grass or, and they explain why they want more parking?
I believe it was because of the event center, the influence of who's the name that went in there, but there's additional attributes.
State your name and then I'll swear you in. Okay.
Ryan Burke, on behalf of Douglas Farmers.
You swear the testimony you're about to give is the whole the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, sir, the haunted house, the escape rooms, the restaurant, everything else there, parking's just always been an issue. Since I purchased the shopping center a few years ago, it's always been our intention to expand the parking lot. It's a very expensive addition to do, so we're just waiting to get some capital committed, and then we just require that to go ahead and extend that.
Thank you.
Can we try the mics again? I turned the mic volume down, so we'll see if it works.
I had a question in regarding landscaping. Was there any possibility of any kind of landscaping on Montgomery Road, whether it would be more small, low shrub? Part of the the Unified Code back when was put in place so that when present fixtures of this size with this much concrete that's adding to the heat of the total index of the community could be addressed and mitigated if at all possible. This is not doing that. I mean, environmentally, I'm having a problem.
Sure. So staff's thinking, first of all, there isn't much space between the parking lot and the lot line. So parkway trees could be possible.
Okay.
Unless engineering objects. But in terms of canopy coverage and shade, it's on the north side of the parking lot, and so it wouldn't actually be causing any cooling effect on the newly added parking area.
Okay. All right. As far as just pleasing to the eye, that Montgomery Road, right in that section, is just barren. There's no other word to say to it. There was nothing that the landscaping experts could recommend?
We're installing the power lines that go along there, so there'd have to be some sort of a low range tree, otherwise
Well, it wasn't necessarily, I appreciate you can't put trees up, you know, in that. But in terms of also just the beautification, let us say, of Montgomery Road, looks a lot better if you have, you know, a variation of small, low-lying, you know, bushes that don't necessarily take up, maybe you would have to give up a little bit, but would not take up a lot of space in terms of just meeting us halfway or a little bit in terms of the overall goal that was set for having the unification, just to enhance the, which is important. Please do not think I'm trying to minimize the importance of having business there. It's also important in terms of just eye appeal, interest. And if you can't do trees at, you know, at the expense of what you would want to do, is there, you know, some kind of way to contribute to the community's overall goal of, yeah, because that particular part of Montgomery was definitely part of the reason the unification went in terms of having lanes that had trees and all, because, you know, prior to, it was just okay for it to be a big mass concrete, adding heat to the, you know, to the total of the community. One aspect of the community is trying to plant trees to help us continue to qualify for the Arboretum, which is looking at just the overall of how Montgomery is trying to, combat some of that concrete heat. So that was my thing.
From an aesthetic standpoint, I feel having the parking lot there is going to look much better than the overgrown field of, so
Yes.
aesthetic-wise, and I feel the parking lot will aesthetically be much more pleasing to the eye for cars driving by than, the field is full of weeds and it's, it looks horrible.
It does. It is not a pleasant.
Right. So the parking lot, if you're worried about the aesthetics, I feel the parking lot will aesthetically look much more pleasing to the eye. As far as trees go, like I said, going along Montgomery Road, I'd be more than willing to plant some stuff for you guys, but they eventually grow into the power line, so I'm not sure what type of trees you would recommend.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, to plant the trees, you've got to deal with long-term where the root's going and what problems could you be causing down the road. Some nice low-bearing shrub, to me, doesn't.
One thing
I'm not a landscape expert. That is one of the reasons I bring it up and ask.
One thing I would note from engineering side is that the village is looking to install a sidewalk between the parking lot and the curb, where
Okay.
any tree and/or shrubs would probably go, and it would also be inside the county right away, and we would then have to consult and get permission from them as well. And we will be relocating water main into that parkway as well.
Okay,
So, yeah,
like I
and
said,
in looking at the plan, it looks like it goes from about 2 feet to maybe 6 feet at the far end of it, of available space between where the pavement would be and where the property line is. There's not, maybe at the 6-foot end, which is for a shorter end of it, you might be able to get a small shrub or ornamental grasses to grow in there, but in just a 2-foot wide section, nothing's gonna survive in there. So just from a logistics standpoint, I'd say you have a very small area where it's viable to plant something, but I think he'd tell you where the drive aisle comes in, if he needs to match where the curb cut is, how the east-west drive aisle at the north end comes in and would serve the rest of that parking area. We would be looking at another variance then that we did not publish for narrowing that drive aisle.
Okay.
So There's a lot of constraints on this particular area.
I do
Yeah.
agree, like I said, trying to bring old established into the up-to-date and take into consideration environmental issues that have blown up since then or whatever, is, always has been a challenge. It just, to me, you know, trees to me were obvious. Low shrubs was not that obvious. But if for nothing else, low-growing ground cover that is more pleasing, that would compete with the weeds and stuff. That is an unattractive area. That's all. I mean, I'm not,
Yeah, so staff is generally in agreement. We do want to bring those into a higher aesthetic standard. One of the reasons that we included as a condition that if the entirety of the parking lot ends up getting redesigned, that happen. But because there's no requirement for them to add any of that landscaping or anything to the existing parking lot, we were okay with temporarily saying.
okay,
Yeah.
just mindful
Yeah.
of the whole.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We're doing our best to make the center look good. We painted the center, we put in the marquee, new roof, we're, sealed one of the parking lot every couple of years. So we're trying to make it look good for the village too.
Okay.
I had a couple questions along those lines too. Tony, is there an existing tree line on the west side? Are those shadows there, trees?
Yeah, so there, some of it is trees and otherwise it's some shrubs and things.
And
some screening.
on the south end, is there anything there now?
Yes,
The west and the south side are fully treated.
The south and the west side are landscaped?
You're not gonna tear those down on the, and we're not talking about cherry blossom, right? We're talking the little section,
It's just the,
just that little section there?
just the ugly field.
Okay.
Okay.
And my second question is, with the sidewalk going in, and there might be a 2-foot wide area, could grasses go in, maybe? Some native grasses somehow with the sidewalk, or would there be room for something?
I'd be more than willing to give, again, we're trying to make the center look as nice as possible.
Okay.
That would,
Yeah, any recommendations in the future, if you guys do the sidewalk, be more than happy to contribute where the tall grass is.
those are cheap, and it would soften the whole area, I think.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. So I know once you guys decide on the sidewalk and where that's gonna go, I know there's a lot of underground utilities over there. So again, you would be fully, open to doing any of that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a question, maybe for the village. I heard some talk about sidewalks going in. How will that impact the trees that are on the Burger King property that go along Montgomery Road?
I don't think we would be impacting any trees. We would be along the curb
Oh, okay.
or closer to the curb to avoid having to do anything with the trees. But like I
Is it-
said,
is that-
also, so I don't think we're taking any trees down.
Okay. I guess I'll follow up about landscaping. I see that Burger King was able to plant some ornamental trees along Montgomery Road. Is that something that could be done on this property? Not just the expanding of the parking lot, but along the whole parking lot, or the old parking lot also?
It looks like their green space is wider at Burger King, based on the Google Maps.
Oh,
Yeah,
for,
that area, right, see?
okay, I just wanted to
Looks wider than they have here.
make that as
Yeah, it is.
something to think about, if that was possible, to continue that look that Burger King had, but if the space isn't there, it isn't there.
Yeah, because on Burger King, the thinner side on Douglas doesn't have trees, which is probably about the same, maybe a little bit less actually than what they have. But on the north side of Burger King, it looks like it's a little bit, the green space is wider or deeper.
yeah, looking at Google Maps, it looks like all of the plantings for Burger King are is on the Burger King side of the lot line.
Okay.
So it's not that it's impossible to get something into the right of way, it's more difficult.
But it'd mean taking more parking spaces away, and that's not what we're here for.
Well, I don't, Chris, you're gonna have to say how feasible it is to get something in the right of way.
With us putting the sidewalk in, it's not feasible to get anything in the right of way. And with the water main being there and other utilities, it doesn't make sense. So yes, the parkway in front of the Douglas Commons is a lot smaller than the parkway in front of Burger King because his drive aisle for his parking lot is wider there. And so you'd have to lose that and then lose some additional parking spots. And if you wanted to, say, shift that parkway further to the south, then you would be able to provide more, but I'm sure he doesn't want to lose the parking and the drive spaces. So.
Okay, thank you.
Further comments or questions?
I would move to approve the variations for, according to section 10.04, table 10.04.1, and section 11 for PZC 2025-011 Douglas Commons, with the following conditions. Variation shall not apply to the existing parking lot. The variation shall expire if the parking lot is redesigned or the property redeveloped with a new structure. The approval of the final engineering plans, the approval of the final photometric plan if additional lighting is proposed, final approval by the fire district, and the adoption of the findings and fact contained in this report.
Second.
Commissioner Bond?
Yes.
Commissioner Yekitis?
Yes.
Commissioner Ott?
Yes.
Commissioner Hammond?
Yes.
Commissioner Baum?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil James?
Yes.
And Commissioner Yen?
Yes.
Okay, that will go in front of the village board on Monday, August 11th. Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is PZC 2025-014 R&L Carrier Subdivision, 2100 Rochester Drive.
Yes, as you may recall, at the end of last year, you approved a special use, well, several special uses and some variances for the expansion of the former yellow freight building at 2100 Rochester. One of the conditions of approval of that was for them to have recorded plats of easement and plats of vacation that were necessary for the development. They have decided to consolidate the lots they have, because there are 4 parcels associated with their property. And so that qualifies as a plat of subdivision, along with establishing those easements and vacation of easements that are necessary. So the UDO does require a public hearing for preliminary subdivision. They're also seeking with this final plat of subdivision, so we're kind of taking it all together through the process. So the only condition of approval that the village is recommending is that this does need to be recorded before a final occupancy is issued for their addition. So plat has been reviewed by EEI and staff. There's just a couple of small changes that need to be made, but otherwise, everything is looking good. So I'm happy to answer questions, and we have the petitioners here as well to answer any questions you might have.
At this time, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. If you'd like to make a comment on this item before the commission, please step up to the podium, state your name, and sign in. I will go ahead and close the public hearing, open it up for commissioners for questions and comments.
This is gonna butt up to the residential, correct?
Yeah, the far east side butts up to some
Is there
residential
blockage on there?
lots.
Like, are there anything that would,
Yes, the plan includes a tall berm with fencing and landscaping.
Did you say a tall berm?
Yes, there is a tall berm on the east side of the property, adjacent to where the residential is. That was approved as part of their special use permit, and with buffer landscaping along it, as well as a solid fence.
Yeah. That was a little a bit of a discussion on the east side.
The approved site plan is included in your packet for reference.
Do you remember how long ago this was vacated by Yellow? I know they went bankrupt, but,
I would say it's been over a year since Yellow Freight's been out of there. Does that sound about right?
What was the question?
How long has Yellow Freight been out of the building?
About a year, probably give or take.
Sorry, couldn't hear you.
Took ownership about a year ago.
yeah, would you mind stepping up to the podium? I can swear you in, both. State your name for the record, and then,
It is Joe Avenali with Manhart Consulting.
you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth and the whole truth? Thank you. I believe the commissioner didn't hear your response.
We took ownership of the property a little over a year ago.
Okay. Um,
So again, the special use variances have all been approved by the village. This is just the approval of the preliminary plat of subdivision, which will consolidate the 4 parcels into 1 lot and establish the required easements.
I'll, motion to approve PZC 2025-014, as long as it meets the final condition, final plat and subdivision must be recorded for an occupancy issued for this development.
Second?
Have a motion and a second, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Okay, this item will come before the village board again on Monday, August 11th. Thank you.
No. No, it'll be on the regular agenda. Yes.
Monday, the 11th, 7 o'clock. Next item on the agenda, community development update and new business.
All right, construction continues out at Marquee Point, so they've got most of the underground utilities for Unit 2 in. So that's moving along. Several lots are under construction, several have contracts on them for the new houses in Unit 1. So that is moving along. They're happy with the progress there. And then Montgomery Business Center, the Nell Road improvements, and Sunway Carriers on Lot 5 have all begun construction. So you might have seen some silt fencing going up around Unit 3 as they're getting ready to do the work to extend Nell Road. And Sunway Carriers has begun work, so they actually have some footing inspections scheduled for next week. So things are moving along out there. I don't think they're burying any lines, no. No, because Nell Road's to the north, so I don't think there's really anything going on with any of the overhead lines.
What is the status of, what was it, Wayside?
Wayside Youth Activity Center?
Yes.
Yes, so they've resubmitted, they've gotten their final engineering submitted in stormwater, so that's under review, and they also submitted their revised subdivision plat. So that is under review to verify everything is in the right place, and that will be going before the village board once EEI has a chance to look at it, for them to
Okay.
approve the final plat of subdivision. That'll
So it's
create the
in-
lot
it's in
for
process,
Wayside.
yeah.
So they're moving through the process, but they can't close on the property until we create the lot. So have to
Okay.
get that step 1 done.
All right.
What about Chipotle?
We're close to that permit, right, Tony?
Yep, they've already gotten approval on my end. They've got a few things to work out with the engineer, but nothing major.
Building permit plans are all approved, so it's just kind of those last couple items, and then we should be able to issue the permits.
Anything else with
All right, just remember Montgomery Fest next weekend. For those of you that signed up to volunteer, thank you. If you haven't, please do, and we'll see you next weekend.